Greetings, booktubers. Welcome back to Grammaticus Books. Welcome to a Sunday Comics edition of Grammaticus Books, where we're going to be going over one of the best Marvel graphic comics ever created. And not just from Marvel, but of any graphic novel ever created. It was an underground classic when it came out, but it's been largely forgotten in the mists of time. It has faded from people's memories. And that comic is Warriors of the Shadow Realm by John Buscema, written by Doug Moench, the creator of Weirdworld, and then not inked, but colored by Peter Ledger. And it's a new coloring process that they use here that Marvel creates and debuts here in Marvel Super Special number 11 in Warriors of the Shadow Realm, Part 1. And the coloring in here is just wonderful. It's unbelievable, the coloring process that they develop and put into this Marvel comic. And along with the pencils by John Buscema, who in my opinion is one of the greatest pencilers in comic book history, just makes for an epic comic book, along with Doug Moench with his wonderful creation, Weirdworld. Now, Weirdworld was created by Doug Moench in the 1970s. His original artist was Mike Ploog, and it never really had a home at Marvel Comics, despite having really good traction and sales when it was put into the various different comic books in which they were publishing Weirdworld. And Weirdworld is, think ElfQuest meets J.R.R. Tolkien. And that is definitely what you get here in part 1 of what's a 100-page comic book, and 3 parts in these Marvel Super Specials, starting with Marvel Super Special number 11. And it is just a wonderful book from front to back. It's amazing the amount of artwork that was put into this and the quality of it. And we're going to go through it here page by page today. So here you have an introduction to Weirdworld, Warriors of the Shadow Realm. You get a nice little poster here, little pinup by Buscema and Peter Ledger, the colorist, signed by both of them. Then you get a map of Weirdworld, the setting for this novel here. And again, think ElfQuest meets J.R.R. Tolkien. And that's sort of the storyline that you've got going. And here you've got the floating island of Clarn, which is going to play an important role here in this story. Got our credits page here with Pete Ledger, Doug Moench, John Buscema doing the pencils, and we've got Rudy Newbrace, where is he? Rudy Newbrace, who is doing the inking. And then over here, giving you a clue of what you're in store for, you get the opening splash page with Ledger doing his wonderful artwork, his wonderful colors, and John Buscema doing the pencils, and it is just spectacular. Look at that. I mean, it's like a painting. And the quality of every single panel here in this entire Marvel Comics Warriors of the Shadow Realm is the same quality. Just wonderful stuff. And you got your 3 main characters here from Weirdworld. You got Mudbutt, who's a dwarf who's kind of comic relief and the voice of wisdom guiding the 2 young elves, Valana and Tyndall, who are the main characters as well. And they're here in their forest in this swamp-like area, doing some fishing, minding their own business in this beautifully rendered page, when suddenly a wild elf drops in on their party. And look at this double splash page. And again, the coloring that's going on here, the colorizing process, and the colors by Peter Ledger on top of the pencils by John Buscema, just make for just an eye-popping double-page spread. And of course, this wild elf who's being chased by an unknown assailant drops in on their party. And again, you've got more great artwork. Look at this full page over here with the wild elf dropping down into their pond as they're fishing. He crashes in on their party, disturbs Tyndall and Valana while they're fishing with Mudbutt, and then he stirs up a swamp serpent. And you get a nice little battle scene here going on the next pages with this swamp serpent. Tyndall saves the wild elf. He shoots the swamp serpent in the eye with a crossbow bolt. And the swamp serpent, or the wild elf doesn't even pause to say thanks, and he's off into the depths of the swamp, which is unadvisable. It is a very dangerous place. You get a little bit of backstory about the magicians here, told by Mudbutt, who again is sort of the voice of knowledge for Weirdworld. and the guide for Tyndall and Valana. And then you get what was pursuing the wild elf and making him be in such a panic and just run off. And it's a Nightfanger, which reminds me quite a bit of a Nazgul. And I don't think that's an accident, but just beautifully conceived and executed by John Buscema and Peter Ledger. And then the Nightfanger is joined by 4 others. You have 5 of these Nightfangers going in here with their red beams coming out of their eyes, just like the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings, searching for their prey. And you've got this sort of dark twilight ambiance that this entire comic book is rendered in here. It gives it a really nice mood to it, on top of the wonderful colors and the wonderful renditions of the characters here by John Buscema. Just makes every single panel in here just a work of art. So the next day Mudbutt crafts a raft, a specially designed raft to go through the swamp as they're traveling to the city of 7 dark delights. And again, you just get another full page, double page spread out painting here, splash page of the swamp that is just beautiful. Just beautiful. Look at all the variations in the green that's going on in here and all the vivid colors. You've got the moss up here, you've got this wonderful raft with your main characters on it. They signed it down here, John Buscema, Pete Ledger, and Rudy Newbrace. They were so proud of their work on this magazine. Got another swamp serpent over here, the caterpillars, big snail, and I love this little frog down here. Frog's got great character. And just another beautiful page. Just a beautiful piece of artwork. You can't call it a comic book. This is just a piece of artwork from front to back. Get another little battle with another swamp serpent. But Mudbutt's design of his raft proves to be an adequate defense and kills the swamp serpent forthwith. And our heroes continue on our journey. And then you get a little bit of an origin story here for Valana, about how Tyndall found Valana. So you get a little bit of flashback. And then you have a nice little page here by Rudy Newbrace, I think that's how you say his name, doing his own impersonation, his own creation, envisioning of Talana and Valana, or pardon me, Tyndall and Valana, mixing those 2 names together. And this is a cover page to a poem written by Doug Moench about the knowledge of the elves. And on the inside, you've got a fold-out poster. This is a pin-up poster. You're supposed to take the staples out and remove this, and then it's a poster you can put up on your wall. And almost any page in this book you could take out and create into a poster. It's got the Nightfangers, it's got the Dark Riders, and it's got Tyndall, Valana, and Mudbutt there on their raft. Great stuff. And we get back into the origin story of Valana. A little bit of a backstory there for Tyndall as well. And then we come back into the present as they traverse the swamp in their raft and make it to the city of 7 dark delights. And here you have their arrival at the city of 7 dark delights. And again, you get another full page spread out, double pages, just beautifully rendered, just a painting in itself. Any one of these you could take out and turn into a pinup poster. Just fantastic. And this is the reason why this is just one of the greatest Marvel graphic comics that was ever created by Marvel Comics. I don't think you could do this today. I don't think you could put this much effort, time, and artistic talent and colors into this and have something that would be reasonably priced that you could sell by Marvel Comics. And for some reason, they don't seem to have an urgency or need to create anything like this these days. And from there, you go to a 3-page fold-out of a collage of life inside the city of 7 dark delights. And just look at this. I mean, unbelievable stuff. And then here you get the poem, The Knowledge of the Elves, written by Doug Moench, which I'm not going to read. It's decent. It's a good poem here. And then we're back into the city of 7 dark delights as Mudbutt is acting as the tour guide for Tyndall and Valana. And then down here, as they're going through, you have the city watch that say, "Sound the alarm. You have riders approaching." And then you get another full page spread of the 5 Dark Riders, looking quite a bit like the Night Fangers with their cloaks. Bring you straight back to the Fellowship of the Ring and the Dark Riders coming into the city of Bree. And it's pretty much straightforward, just a copy of Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. But it does diverge from that quite a bit in the follow-on 2 graphic novels, Super Special number 12 and 13, that wrap this up. So it does sort of take on a personality and character of its own, deviates out from being just straight J.R.R. Tolkien. And here's a look ahead at the next issue with more just beautiful, beautiful renderings and drawings by John Buscema with Pete Ledger. We're doing the artwork. Love this wizard. This wizard is fantastic in the following pages and the following comics. And then from there, it goes into a history of all the different lands of Weirdworld that ties into the map from the opening page. You get more of a geographic history, and then you get a sketchbook. Get a John Buscema sketchbook. And John Buscema is one of the greatest pencilers to ever put pencil on paper for comic books and the history of comic books, in my opinion. He's just wonderful. And here's his sketchbook. And then you go into Doug Moench going into a tale about the creation of Weirdworld and how this magazine, this edition right here, the super special with Warriors of the Shadow Realm, how it came about. So you get a nice little backstory. And then that continues here with a full in-depth relating of that backstory. And then you get how this book came to be with the artistic creative team with a nice shot of John Buscema up there. Really great stuff. John Buscema, Rudy Newbray, and Pete Ledger. And that is Warriors of the Shadow Realm, one of the greatest Marvel comic graphic novels ever created, and Marvel Super Special number 11, 1979, followed up with Warriors of the Shadow Realm Part 2. And again, just gives you a taste of the artwork you're in store for here. And then Warriors of the Shadow Realm Part 3, finishing up the series. And I will do full page reviews of those other 2 books as well. But I'm going to wrap that one up here for Sunday Comics and say take care, be safe, and I will catch you guys next time.